All right, so today we're zeroing in on something that's, well, absolutely essential to life. Yet we often just take it for granted, or worse, directly harm it. The air we breathe.
Yeah, it's fundamental.
It really is. It's almost invisible until,
Yeah.
it's a problem, right? Welcome back to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're trying to cut through some of the noise and really help you get up to speed on something that affects every single breath we take. Air pollution.
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive is really to help you quickly become well-informed.
Right.
Moving from maybe very personal experiences right out to its global implications. We've pulled insights from, well, a whole range of sources.
Correct.
Everything from scientific papers, detailed policy discussions, even personal anecdotes.
So a real mix.
Yeah, the goal is to extract those vital nuggets of knowledge, maybe some surprising facts, that really help make sense of this complex issue for you.
We talk about global issues so much, but air pollution, it often starts with something deeply personal, doesn't it?
It really does.
That unexpected cough, maybe, or just the haze you can almost taste sometimes. What do our sources say about those, immediate sensory experiences, the things that first wake us up to the problem?
It's powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our sources, they're actually full of moments where people describe air pollution not as some abstract thing, but something intensely physical. Like one account describes the air smelled like smoke, and I had a hard time breathing.
Wow.
It really highlights that immediate sort of visceral impact. It's a reminder that, before it's a policy debate, it's a direct assault on our senses, on our ability to simply breathe.
And when you feel that, it definitely makes you think about your own daily choices.
Yeah.
Like, how often do you really factor air quality into, say, your transport decisions? Do you lean towards public transport, or is it your own car in your area? It's not always an easy choice, is it?
No, it's definitely not. And that's precisely the tension our sources bring up. Well, your choice to say walk or bike, it might feel like just a drop in the ocean.
Yeah, totally.
But these individual experiences, these decisions, they're like threads in a much larger tapestry. They shape local air quality and, collectively, global awareness.
Ah, okay.
Like a really compelling interplay between the individual breath and, well, the planetary atmosphere.
That really emphasizes why getting into the causes is so crucial here.
Exactly.
Because it's one thing to feel it, but understanding the mechanisms behind it, that's where the solutions really start to emerge, I suppose.
Yes.
So why is air pollution becoming such a persistent issue in so many cities?
Well, the drivers are pretty clear when you look at the sources. Rapid urbanization, industrialization, and our reliance on specific types of transportation.
Right, the usual suspects.
Kind of. Our sources really detail the role of fossil fuels and the emissions they release. But what's fascinating, I think, is the tension they highlight between economic growth and environmental issues.
That trade-off.
Exactly. We see examples where rapidly industrializing nations are trying to sort of leapfrog the older, dirtier technologies, while others face immense pressure to prioritize immediate economic uplift, maybe over long-term environmental health. It creates a very different policy landscape depending on where you look.
And when we talk about air pollution, it's rarely just one single thing, is it?
No, definitely not.
What are some of the most critical components of this cocktail that our sources highlight, and why should we pay particular attention to them?
You're right, it's a complex mix. Our sources really drill down on particulate matter, especially the ultrafine stuff, PM2.5.
PM2.5, okay. Why is that so bad?
Well, it's particularly insidious because it's just so tiny. It allows it to penetrate really deep into the lungs, even into the bloodstream.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, leading to long-term health risks that go way beyond just, respiratory issues.
I see.
Then you've got greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, obviously contributing to climate change.
Right.
And specific contaminants like nitrogen dioxide, often from vehicle exhaust. That's a key ingredient in urban smog.
Smog. Okay.
So understanding these specific components is really vital because, each one requires a different kind of mitigation strategy.
The granularity of that science, it really underscores why digging into the data is so important.
It does.
It's one thing to see the haze, quite another to grasp those invisible threats. What did our sources reveal about the hard data, the impacts of air pollution?
It's truly sobering, actually. Beyond the obvious things like asthma and general respiratory problems, Our sources reveal some really compelling links between that fine particulate matter and things like cardiovascular disease,
Okay.
even neurological impacts in children, and reduced cognitive function in adults. It's quite broad.
So it's not just the lungs.
Not at all. It's not just about what you breathe in. It's how these airborne particles can potentially affect nearly every system in the body. And of course, it extends to ecosystems, too. There are discussions on how pollutants contribute to acid rain, harm biodiversity, disrupt natural cycles.
Right. And getting into those specifics often means grappling with terms like environmental policies across countries or maybe exploring detailed case studies.
Yes.
Our sources seem to approach this from so many different angles.
Absolutely. And the way this information is presented, whether it's through a range of environmental policies or specific case studies or these in-depth scientific explanations, that's crucial too.
How so?
Well, it highlights how different regions are tackling the problem, the varying effectiveness of their environmental regulations, how pollutants are tracked.
Okay.
Understanding these diverse presentations helps us see the bigger global picture, but also the individual challenges more clearly.
So armed with this understanding, let's maybe shift focus a bit towards solutions.
Okay.
What role should governments be playing in reducing air pollution? And what's actually being done?
Governments have a massive role, primarily through things like emission control and putting robust environmental regulations in place.
Makes sense.
Our sources frequently discuss the push for sustainable alternatives, like electric vehicles, for instance.
Ah, yes, EVs.
And that brings up a really interesting question that came up in the sources. Do you think electric vehicles are a long-term solution?
Good question. Because it's not just the tailpipe, right?
Exactly.
All right.
While they eliminate tailpipe emissions, which is great, the larger picture involves, manufacturing impacts, battery disposal,
All right, the life cycle.
and critically, how the electricity to actually charge them is generated. Is it coming from clean sources?
Yeah.
It's definitely not as simple as just swapping out one vehicle for another. And our sources do explore that full life cycle impact.
It really sounds like the solutions are, well, almost as complex as the problem itself.
They can be, yeah.
What concrete examples from the sources help illustrate how different places have grappled with this?
They offer some fascinating insights, actually. Our sources highlight historical turning points like the Great Smog of London back in the 50s.
Oh, right, the killer smog.
Yeah, it famously demonstrated how a catastrophic event could rapidly accelerate policy changes, leading directly to the UK's Clean Air Act.
A wake-up call.
Definitely. And then for more modern contrast, you look at something like how Beijing fights air pollution.
Okay.
That reveals a really aggressive top-down approach. And while it has been effective in reducing the visible smog,
Yeah.
it also raised new questions about, individual freedoms and the economic costs involved.
Different priorities.
And then you have things like the WHO guidelines on clean air, providing global benchmarks, trying to push for higher standards everywhere.
Right.
And, as you mentioned, the ongoing debate around electric cars on pollution just shows how even technological solutions themselves need really critical scrutiny.
Given all that, it can feel a bit overwhelming, can it?
It can, yeah.
Can an individual really make a substantial difference to the environment when the problem feels so vast, so systemic?
That's a crucial question. And our sources offer, I'd say, a nuanced perspective. While, yes, government policies and big industrial shifts are massive drivers,
Sure.
individual actions, when you aggregate them, they absolutely foster environmental awareness.
Ah, the awareness factor.
Yes, and this awareness, it builds public demand for change, it influences consumer markets, and ultimately, it can nudge policymakers.
So it does trickle up?
It can, yeah. Your personal choices, multiplied by millions, they really do contribute to broader environmental shifts and can even help create the political will for more stringent regulations. So yes, individuals do play a significant role.
That's actually a powerful thought to leave you, our listener, with. We've journeyed through this really pervasive topic of air pollution today, from, the sensation of a difficult breath, right up to the complexities of global policies and potential solutions.
Yeah, that's quite a range.
Drawing insights from all those different sources.
Yeah.
So, considering that often challenging balance between economic growth and environmental issues, what do you believe is the most significant long-term consequence if we don't manage to reduce air pollution? And maybe, what specific change, big or small, are you inspired to consider after this deep dive? Something to think about.